Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in Nashville. And today we're out of the studio and we're upstairs in our training room because I want to introduce to you the new CQB In A Box laser targets. And they're pretty awesome. If you know anything about my videos, you watch any of my videos, you know I'm a big believer in laser dry fire practice because one of the master skills of getting good at shooting is dry fire practice. So over the course of years, I mean, literally almost 15, 20 years since I've been, doing videos, I developed a reset trigger about 20 years ago. And the reset trigger allows you to pull the Glock trigger and it resets and pull it again. Now, it's not a design for live fire. It's designed for dry fire practice. I developed the reset trigger because as I was dry fire practicing with the Glock, you have to rack the slide to get it to come up and you click and you get one shot out of it. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Now, because dry fire, the key with dry fire is to manipulate the firearm, to operate the firearm, to present the firearm, and get all that done without live fire. All right, so that's really important. You can do 80% of your practice in dry fire, and all those skills will transfer themselves out to the range. And so for years, we would just dry fire, rack the slide, come out of a holster, click once, rack the slide, do it again. Kind of a bad habit because you get used to racking the slide all the time. It's almost automatic. So I developed the reset trigger, which allows you to do multiple trigger pulls without having to rack the slide. Again, it's not designed for live fire. It's designed only for dry fire practice. So once I had the reset trigger developed, I stumbled into the SHOT Show one year. Was there setting up my booth, and kind of right like down the row was this company called LaserAmmo, and they had developed a little laser module that is a 9mm basically that fits inside of the barrel, and every time the striker hits it, it actually spits out a laser pulse. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So I married that up with the reset trigger. I called that the magic bullet, and it now allows you to not only have multiple trigger pulls, but a laser pulse that comes out that verifies your skill. Because, when you dry fire without the laser, you come up, you present the gun, you're really focusing on the front sight, you're bringing the front sight into your line of view. Remember, your head is still, you're looking at the target, and here comes the gun into your line of sight. Now, if you practice a lot, and you do it over and over again, you can get to the point where every time you present the gun, the sights are pre-aligned. That means the front sight is nestled between the rear sight, exactly where you want it to be. And so now, all of a sudden, you don't have to think about lining the sights up. They are lined up every time you present the gun. So depending upon the distances, if they're really close, you can actually shoot much faster because you have trained enough to know that as soon as you make that presentation, you can shoot. You can almost have your eyes closed and you'll be accurate. I don't recommend that, of course, but the concept is, again, that the gun is there because you practice enough and you know that the front sight is on the target. Your eyes are on the target. The gun comes up and intersects with your eyes. All right, so that's the key behind dry fire practice. And again, if you don't have the laser, you always have a doubt in your mind that did it work? So the laser then got married up with these responsive targets. And first of all, let me show you the original responsive target. Is basically this guy right here. And so it's got a target area, and it's got a little sensor down here that will see when the laser hits the target area. So when you hit the target, it beeps. So now you know that you've actually, done everything right. So that said, LaserAmmo saw one of my videos where I actually had taken the target and taped it onto Bob. And I was shooting and just, because I wanted to have a realistic, feel for, okay, I want to hit a center of mass area, but I still want to have that realistic silhouette. And so they developed these silhouette targets, which are pretty darn cool. And they've got 3 different hit areas. And you can see that it's got the basically the target sensor right here. And anything in the white's going to be a hit. This material out here, or this pattern out here, does not reflect the laser properly to actually indicate with the sensor. So it's pretty cool. It's a really cool system. It gives you 3 different hit points, and you can see what they have done also is they have come up with some target overlays that give you, simulated center of mass hits. So all that said, these things are cool, and I'm dying to let you see, kind of how I use them because, bottom line is, ammo is expensive. Getting to the range is expensive. Now, luckily, I've got a range right downstairs. I've got indoor range, but shooting ammo now, it's 20 cents a pop. Boom, boom, boom. So I will practice religiously with the laser system because I know that the skill I develop here and the skill I maintain here will translate itself at the range just like that. Okay, so the goal that I want to do is I want to see that when I hit the target, now this is really important. When I hit the target, I want it to be a nice, crisp laser dot. Because if the laser starts to blur, that means I'm yanking the trigger somewhat. And the other thing that I see really interesting to me is that if I don't have a really strong left hand and really grip onto that right hand, that I'll notice that the first shot may be a nice crisp dot, but that second shot tends to be a blur. Unless I really tighten up on that left hand. So that's something you want to train yourself to do because a lot of people, we've talked about, left hand is really the secret, the key. You want to master that left hand. Now, I'm right-handed. That's why I'm saying left-handed. If you're left-handed, it's your right hand. It's your offhand. You're squeezing your right hand, your shooting hand, onto the gun with that left hand. Okay, so I'm right-handed, okay? So you squeeze it and tightly because you want to control the gun that way. Again, I've got some meat on here, and I'm squeezing my hand onto it. Now, my right hand is about 80%. Left hand is about 110%. I'm just going to mash that in there, and that allows me to get crisp double and triple shots on these targets. So you can see my shots, and I don't know if you can get close up on these targets. Let's see if I can get this one. I'll see if that camera can get a close up on this target and show you kind of what I'm thinking about here, how I'm talking about this. So when I hit the thing, boom, you see there's one dot there in a headshot. Okay, one standard dot. Now, as I do double tops, you'll see that the dot starts to move around a little bit. If I relax my left hand, just relax it a little bit, you can see all of a sudden, I hope you saw that, the first dot and then the second dot was woof. Now, same concept, if I really tighten up on this left hand, you can see there's 2 solid, crisp dots. All right? Now, that skill of training yourself to remember, because again, we all get lazy on this, to remember that left hand is so important that you get up, you're squeezing, crushing that left hand. That allows you to shoot really fast and accurately and control the gun. Now, there's no recoil here, right? But you'll still see this, the movement of my finger is actually creating some movement of the muzzle. And that's, of course, when you want to shoot fast. Now, I can sit here all day long and just do, precision shots, boom, 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 boom. And that's pretty boring, right? Because it's not going to happen in a real world situation. In a real world situation, you may be 4 or 5 times, bop, 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 bop. So you want to be able to train yourself to get a lot of trigger time. And that's one of the things the laser module, the reset trigger, the whole combination will really give you the opportunity to get a lot of trigger time. And trigger time is working that finger. And when you work the finger, then all of a sudden, like I said, you go to the range and it's automatic. We've already talked about presenting the gun to the target. We've already talked about, grip, stance, sight picture, all that other stuff. But it comes down to, in my mind, working the trigger without disturbing the sight picture. That's the key. And these targets give you the ability to do so. And the nice thing about these targets is you can go target to target and such. So, you can buy the 3-pack, of course, or you can buy them individually. But the bottom line is, this is a really neat way to train. Of course, we do sell just the targets themselves, and you can go ahead and use these guys and place them around, which is, how I started. And I actually, think this is a great system. So bottom line is, if you're looking to be a better shooter, you want to practice because practice makes perfect, right? It's expensive to shoot because of the ammo. But the laser concept really can take your game to the next level because you have now the ability to get a lot of trigger time and to test yourself and see what kind of results you get based upon how that dot looks, how you basically are indexing, how fast you can get to it. I mean, you can get to the point where you can hit light switches across the room, snapping them out. They're just like that. It's that quick and that easy. Here's just a regular simple locking holster. This is our LOK holster. Has a lock here that allows you to lock the gun in place, push the button, come out. It's a paddle, so I'm going to slip it on real quick and just do a couple of dry fires from concealment. So from concealment, basically come across and just come and boom. All right, let's do that one more time. Do a little bit better than that. I'll go ahead and do it so you can see it on the camera here. Coming across, I got to access that lock, and the lock really forces my finger in the right position. So come across all the way back, get down on the gun, and there, see how I'm accessing the lock? And again, one more time, boom, boom, boom. So I got to be able to practice accessing the gun, but also be able to practice the shot and coming up and seeing a target. Now, again, you don't really need, the fancy targets. You can just put a piece of paper on the wall. I kind of like the beep. It's kind of fun. Just tells you, kind of shows you a cadence. Lets people know you're practicing. But, I'll do dry fire practice from concealment. I'll do dry fire practice, from the table. I've even done dry fire practice from my safe, my little bedside safe. So I have practice opening the safe, getting the gun, and coming up. Bottom line is, no matter what you do with the firearms, you want to be safe and you want to practice before you go out into the real world or even in competition, because practice will make perfect on this particular skill, and you want to develop everything that we just talked about, being able to present the gun, keeping your finger off the trigger, present the gun up to the target, have the sights pre-aligned, and squeeze, and then again, left hand, I cannot emphasize how important that left hand is for multiple shots. First shot, yeah, easy, bang, gun goes all over the place. If you're strong with that left hand, boom, and you have a good grip and you have a good stance and you're weight forward and you're boom, you can do multiple shots and keep them really on target. So, again, wanted to introduce you to the new, what they call CQB in a box, because they're selling these things to law enforcement agencies and military for room entry and other things to help them develop the movement of their people and then accessing targets as they do so. And again, the laser is a perfect application of that. So if you're looking to get better, you want to be a better shooter, practice. Practice with lasers. I'm telling you, it's really a game changer for me. I'm Lenny McGill. This, of course, is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in Nashville. We're in a training room upstairs here. We do a whole bunch of things here. We've got a big classroom over there for our CQB stuff and our concealed carry classes and our medical classes and all kinds of things we do up here. But also, downstairs we have indoor ranges. Got a showroom that's pretty spectacular. Love to have you come visit us here in Nashville. Thanks for watching. I'm Lenny McGill. See you next time.